What's going on, YouTube? It's another episode of Outback Jack. Today we find ourselves a little bit north of Yellowstone, and we're at the old Montana grain elevator, as you can see behind me. We're retracing the steps of a famous and infamous old school railroad system. It's a Milwaukee railroad system, and it disembarked from St. Paul, Minnesota, and it ended up in Washington. So today we're going to be going up into the mountains up in Mudlow, and we're going to be visiting some old train sites, railway towns, and some things of the likes. I've got a special guest here today. We both share a great love of this land and the history, and we're going to be doing some traveling. So I've got Montana Dirt Roads here. Very nice to meet you and get you on camera. We're going to leave you guys his tag. He's a true mountain man. He knows more of this area than myself. He's got a lot of interesting viewpoints and angles, and I'm really excited to begin this expedition. We've been following each other quite a while now, since the start of Outback Jack, and it's good to get on the road with you and get to view some of this stuff, and I'm excited. So this is the old Montana Elevator Co., and as you can see, a railway used to run through this, and that would have been the Milwaukee Railroad. And it used to pick up grain from a lot of the local farmers and ranchers alike and ship it to the West Coast or East Coast, depending on where it was going and where the order was received. As you can see, it's a beautiful structure. And this was actually only shut down in 1980. So there used to be a lot of commerce that'd still go through here. Up there, I got the Bridger Mountains, got some cattle grazing. It's a beautiful day. We got some miles to cover, but we're gonna bring you a lot of cool information. And you got anything unique to this area?
So the Milwaukee Road as a conglomerate shut down in '80. They did close down certain lines of the railroad over the years at different times. I don't know when this spur line that came from their main line down in towards like Belgrade and Bozeman.
Yep.
I do not remember when this actually shut down. If they still use it right up till 80.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cruise on up the gravel road here. We're gonna check out the town of Modlow, and we're gonna show you the school and 16-mile river or creek, depending on where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we're going to shoot on over to Lombard, show you, which I think is the only curved rail bridge on that line that crossed the river.
Wow. Wow.
A tunnel.
And we can access that, right?
Yep, we can actually park right up on the rail grade.
No kidding. That's going to be awesome. And something you were sharing with me as we were coming through here is you noted something that I didn't pay much attention to, but we see this flat land and this small river coming through. A lot of the railways were constructed along that flat land?
Yeah, a lot of the traditionally, especially back in like the 1800s, they'd always build their railroads in river bottoms, because the river had already basically made the railway for them. They just had to build the grade. Yeah. So a lot of the Milwaukee Railroad, and hell, you can even go back and look at like the Great Northern and Northern Pacific, and a lot of their older traditional rail lines back when they ran steam engines, they built when they came into the mountains, they would follow rivers.
That's so cool. That's so cool. That's very interesting, because I find these old railroad tyings and things like that, and you can tell there's been some engineering and some construction and movement in the area, but I never put two and two together. And I'm sure me and my viewers appreciate this information just as much. So just moving on here, we're looking at this old elevator, and it's really cool. I like it. You got some old boulders. Obviously that wasn't God's design. That ended up here some way, but as you can see,
ended up here from up there.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. That's a sheer cliff, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the building's old. This is private property, so we're kind of respecting it, but we are admiring the construction of it and just looking at everything that used to be. So this is going to be our first stop, and we're going to start heading down the road and see what comes up next, and we're going to get some cool pictures along the way and whatnot. And excited to have you guys along, and hope you enjoy this content just as much as we are. So we're out here cruising the strip. We're going to our next haunt, and we ran into a local. They thought we were waving them down. We just said hi. We were admiring the grain elevator, and gave us a little historical info of the site. Just very old, very shut down. You got some old barns out there.
I love me an old barn.
I do too. That's like a homesteaded area. This area right
all
here.
Homesteaded.
This is all homesteaded. These are all historical families.
Barns were built better than the homes.
The barns were built better than the homes. You see a barn, you watch Outback Jack, Montana dirt roads, you see a barn more intact than you do a house. And that's because the barn was the bank for the house. So
that's the last thing that's the home.
It is the very last thing, and most of the times they'll have
from the railroad.
Oh yeah.
So we crossed the rail grade back there.
Yeah.
And you kind of you kind of see where the rail grade went past, where all their downspouts are. That's where the trains would come through.
And that's super interesting. I mean, we don't see. You can see some of these, natural road-looking things that are flat, where a railroad would have ran through, but they're no longer here. And they got removed pretty quick, right? You said 1980 was the last time a train came through?
80 was when the Milwaukee Road shut down. It wasn't like a year or two later when 99% of the rails were pulled up.
Okay.
There are a few places where the rails are still there, but for predominantly all the rails got pulled because the Milwaukee Road, it was unique in the fact that they owned the rail grade. They weren't leased from landowners or the government.
Right.
So when the railroad shut down, those rail beds were then sold to the area, to the farmers that the road went through.
Okay.
So a lot of the farmers removed the rails and then turned the old rail grade into farm road.
Wow. So they acquired it. So when the railroad shut down, they said we're not removing it. That's your property now.
They sold it to the landowners. Yeah.
Okay. They sold it.
They sold it because the Milwaukee Road owned the rail grade. So they sold it like over here, like the town that we're going to, it's all privately owned.
That's crazy.
Not by one individual, but by different landowners. But
right, like it's sectioned off for whoever was homesteaded on that. They sent them a letter, maybe in the mail or whatever, and said, "Hey."
I'm not sure how the sale happened.
Yeah.
But so like in Idaho did it right. The state bought a lot of the rights to those rail grades.
Okay.
And then they turned that into them into county roads. So you can start off at St. Regis, Montana, drive to St. Marie, Idaho, and you could drive most of that on the Milwaukee Road. They still use, they turned all the train bridges into county road bridges. They use there's like 16 tunnels that you'll go through. I'm actually going to be doing this trip this summer.
Okay.
But yeah, they a lot of the rail grades got utilized for farm roads, county roads. On the Montana-Idaho border, you got the Hiawatha Bike Trail.
But up here we got the Bridgers, and I've actually hiked somewhere over there is Sacagawea Peak. On one of my videos, I actually hiked Sacagawea Peak, and that's something to look at. But we're on the south side of the Bridgers right now, cruising through. So I'm really interested for that bridge. We're gonna get that bridge. Said you can go into the tunnel at the old railway bridge, so that'll be cool. We're scoping out up here. We think we found something, maybe a mule deer up here in these mountains. My camera doesn't have the resolution, but you look up there. That's is that an orange rock?
Yeah, it looks like a giant orange rock. Well, that is orange rock. I'm not seeing anything else up there.
Yeah, we found some muleys. Enjoying their afternoon out here. They like that. They like hanging up in these mountains.
Some more up here.
Oh yeah, look at those. A lot of those.
Should be coming up adult for too long.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like some old mining history in this area.
Oh, dude, if there's a mountain in this state, they mine it.
So we're not far from our next mining town, and again, this is a remnants of the Milwaukee Railroad. We made it up the road, I'd say, I don't know, about 15, 20 miles close to, give or take, in that area. And we're not too far off from heading down there and seeing what we got down there. So me and Dirt Roads are gonna head down there and see what's in store, guys. So I'm in Old Modlow, and this place is cool. This is another really cool expedition here we're on, and a lot of this is privately owned since the town shut down, so some of this we're not going to be able to go into, but we're going to be able to admire it, and you can see it's decently preserved. So we got an old house here, which is really cool. Look at this. Got some equipment down here. Looks like someone's grading their road. There is a house back here, it looks like. But you see all this old stuff, and we're kind of in like a little ravine type deal. I can hear a river in the distance, but this house is really cool. I really like this. We're just gonna see if we can't get a peek. Yeah, this is an old homestead, guys. Still got some furniture. That would have been where the stove was at. You see the old flute for it. Bed. And again, if you look back on our last video in Marysville, they were tiny beds like this. So that was a family's bed or a couple's bed. It wasn't king size. It was very, you're going to sleep on it. There isn't any elegancy, but I can still smell this house, and it's very well preserved. This house is well preserved, and it's really neat to see. Look at this. Look at this old house here.
Yeah, I love our arid climate for the preservation.
It really did preserve it. You can still see the paint in that sucker, and I don't see that on a lot of them.
You know, the term, they don't build them like they used to. This is where it comes from.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because something like this nowadays would be done. It would have been done, because they've been sitting for how long, you think?
I do not remember when this was established, but the town, it was here for a good while.
An old stove? Look at this. Look at this. See, this is a rope. So the window used to open via a rope mechanism, and you see the gears. And this is built sturdy. It's like Dirt Road said, so I'm just gonna look through here for a minute. Hope this roof doesn't come falling down on Outback Jack on camera. But look at this. Isn't that cool? That is so cool. Sink. Old porcelain sink. Still here. Tub. Toilet. Modlow. Super home. Deluxe. The hell is this? That was the furnace. Okay. That was the furnace, yeah. Got your gas connection here. That is a heck of a furnace. That is one heck of a furnace if you look at that. Super home. Huh. Super neat. Nest up there. Oh, this glass too. And again, Montana winters are super harsh. This is single pane, but it's double set. So, right there we got the old school building. The old school building is gonna be remarkable. So. We're just poking around here. So we're still out in Modlow. We got to talk with the landowner. He was out working, mending his fences here. The spring pushes the fences outside their holes. So he was out mending on his Bobcat, came cruising up. We had a nice talk with him, and that was really cool. This land's been in his family for a long time, and he just said have fun and just wanted to know who we were, and it's a nice area, very kind gentleman. So if anyone ever does come out here, just respect the land and, you know, let someone know you're not destroying anything or ruining some of this heritage. But here's the old school, the old Modlow school, and you see the old playground and everything like that. Super cool here. Beautiful area. So yeah, there he is down on his bobcat, but you see it, and it's really nice. It's well preserved too. This whole thing is. So you see all this. Gotta love it. Gotta love it up here. So we got plenty of more up the road. This is gonna be quite the video, and if you're still with me, thank you. Don't forget the like and subscribe button. We have done great on all our videos and all of our viewers. I'm so happy to have you guys along, that you're taking a liking to this channel, and there's still more to come. So this is just the start. Really exciting stuff. But as you see, it's a great little stop and old town that once was. But yeah, let's get up the road right behind me and see what else we got in store. Heading down the road past Climbing Rock Ranch. Dirt roads here tells me that there's going to be a little cabin tucked away, and it's going to be an epic little cool area out here. Ties into a railroad trestle, and trestle. Ties into a trestle. See, he knows this stuff like the back of his hand. He's a Montana mountain man. He can't not find this stuff. So yeah, we're just following this river. Really beautiful day out. Would you say this was
16 Mile Creek.
16 Mile Creek here.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. Look at that. That's an old railway bridge right there.
That was part of the electrification of the railroad from Harlow to Avery, Idaho.
Holy cow. So that's what propelled the engine.
Yeah.
That little old post right there.
They had the wires that overhung those were just the power posts, and they like overhung them. They had like arms and shit that bring it out onto the railroad.
And where'd you say that started and ended at?
Harlowtown, Montana. Yep. Where the museum is. That's where the electrification started. And it went all the way to Avery, Idaho. And that's where it ended. I want to say it was 77 when they quit doing that.
77, okay.
Yeah, when they abandoned the electrification, because the diesel electric locomotives at that time had gotten powerful enough to be able to pull the trains up over the mountain passes.
Super cool, super cool. Which that's another interesting tidbit that I mean, you've spent years dedicating time to researching this stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, the Milwaukee Road is kind of like a favorite subject of mine. In Deer Lodge, they have some of the older, the diesel locomotives and a caboose that you can go and check out, and I think you can get into the caboose even. Three Forks, they have a Northern Pacific Railroad. They have some of the Milwaukee stuff on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of a good place to go for reference.
Old bridge still being maintained.
Well, the
farmers
farmers
a couple souls out here.
A lot of the farmers, they use these to access their land. So we're actually going to cross the railroad again down here, and it goes up to a town called an old town called Francis.
Francis, okay.
So this is the last time we're going to cross the railroad right here. But yeah, that's the grade right there.
Okay.
And that's on the way to Francis, and there's a little canyon back there called the Eagle's Nest. If I remember a while back, I seen a video of a guy that flew his drone over there.
Yep.
And you can find some old video and photos for back in the day when the Milwaukee was still going. It is just some of the most beautiful country that you will see.
No kidding.
Yeah,
no
this
kidding.
side, yeah, in this area.
On this side of the bridges, yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Wow. Wow, and this area is very beautiful. I mean, This is backcountry Montana, and it doesn't get better than this. So if you're a freedom-loving American, freedom-loving European, wherever you come from, this is your place.
You know, the movie of Yellowstone, it is possible for one individual to own, you know, an entire mountain or entire landscapes. So
yes, it is.
You need to be self-aware of where you're at. Not every ghost town is accessible to the public, and not every road can be driven. You know, maps will show, say, like the road to Francis, the maps show that as a county road. That is a private road.
Yep. And that's Onyx. We use Onyx out here quite a bit. Figure out where we're at, what's accessible, what isn't. And this is the Climbing Rock Ranch. So this, what we're looking at on our left-hand side of the road here is all private. And that's someone's sanctuary, and that land's been passed down generation after generation, and it's still being maintained. And
so let's give all the viewers a tip that I gave you earlier. If you're uncertain of an area and you can't find any information on the internet for it, call the closest local bar or the post office. They will be able to tell you if that area is public, private, or if the area is open, passable, or not.
Now, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's the old railway trestle.
There's two of them. You got one to the left, and there's one behind them trees. And you got that one homestead cabin right out there in the middle of the field.
And that is cool.
We can get a better view up on the hill here. Yeah, we'll get out here and show people what we got here.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, like I said, you can come over here on the 70s with the passenger train. And this is what you see.
This is a wide expanse too.
We're good.
You see this over here, right over there? It almost looks like that was some sort of a mining operation up on that hill.
There?
You see the cuts?
Yeah, most likely it was either that or logging.
I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there are some cuts over here on this hill. It could have been logging, mining.
On the hillside for the viewers, that the snow lines or drifts on the road.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. So that is some sort of a logging road or something over there. But yeah, this is great.
Yeah, another nice thing about calling the bars and the post offices, they'll give you road conditions. Yeah. This is a road you do not want to be on after a heavy rainstorm because this shit gets soft.
Yep.
It's just dirt.
And if you are on it, you want to ride the center, because if you're on the edge,
yeah, take the hillside.
Yep, slide. So we're going up. We're still climbing. We're still going to our next spot. You too, Whitetail? Oh, yep. Crossing the road. Might have missed them on camera, but you were saying earlier too that there was what was it? A Ted Turner ranch out here. Isn't he like a big CNN football or something?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
What Ted Turner stands for. Yeah, he owned a huge, plot of land between the individuals that I'm talking to off camera and where the next town is at. He owned a huge swath of land.
Wow, this is cool. So I know he owns something now farther in Paradise Valley area, right? We got him on the road grazing.
Yeah, that's the sad and unfortunate reality of living in Montana is, for these rich, the cost of land in Montana is relatively cheap.
We're going, it's getting a little bit rougher country. The roads are less drove on, less maintained.
Yeah,
and
more drove on, less maintained.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be like this. This is just amazing. That's amazing. So we made it to the canyon. We're heading out of the canyon and we're going to the next town over. Part of the canyon road's public forest land, the other part's private. So we did a little bit of a U-turn, and as you can see, we're headed out of it. But a sliver, like you said, and yeah, it's stunning back here, out of this world, otherworldly in my opinion. You know, you don't see a lot of geological formations like that.
Yeah, you're not going to find this in Nebraska, that's for sure.
No, this is special Montana land. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a couple that are lurking around that are sleeping right now.
Oh, we probably drove past like 12 of them already.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
They're up in these hills.
Yeah, this is like
yeah, look at that.
If it wasn't for them sticks right there, that would be on the road.
Yeah. Water's high, and that's all coming from the snow thaw. There's still plenty more to come, so.
Oh yeah, and that river runs here along.
Yeah, and it looks like we made it out here at a good time. Like, it's just bearable.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been out here Friday.
Yeah, it would have been mud and a snowstorm or
not
puddle
Friday,
goes.
yeah. A couple days ago.
There we go, it's a puddle. Not too deep, but it's awesome. It's awesome. So, we'll keep you filled in. We're still on a leg of a journey to get to the next place, but so far no shortage of Outback Jack and Montana Dirt Road content. We're just enjoying the day and taking our time as we go. Making our way out of Climbing Rock Ranch, we found another rail bridge, and it's just a true piece of history down there if you see it. It's kind of overgrown, looks like it's got some weathering, but that's an original rail tie that would cross this river right here and head out west. So it's just something neat, another piece of history. And
so look at that one pier there to the right. You see all the grass and stuff on there?
oh yeah,
That's from high water.
that's crazy. That's pushing all that debris down the river. That's what that is, that flow down there.
Yes. that must meant there was a lot of flooding up that way.
Oh yeah, that might have been from the Yellowstone flood. Tossed in looking for our next haunt, just cruising the strip out on the open range, and here we go, we got a BNSF train coming through. Cruising down the strip here, we found a nice bull snake sunning in the road. Hope you see him.
Oh, there he is. He's
Ooh.
missing, he ain't rattling.
He's mad. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's pretty mad right now.
Yeah. See, no rattle. And his head is more slender. More like poisonous snakes are arrow. Their heads are more like an arrow shape.
Yeah.
Their glands are up by their.
He'll
eyes.
lunge at you though too.
No, he's just posing. He's harmless. We'll leave. We're gonna leave him be. But yeah.
Look at him.
Oh yeah,
He's healthy.
He's posing. He's putting on a show.
Little bit of nature for you guys. Still on the open trail. This stuff does keep you up at night. You think about it a lot.
I have insomnia, so I get bored. I start cruising like Google Earth. That's how I find. Honest to God, this is how I find lots of stuff. randomly start following roads and mountains and
Which, I mean, it's a great adventure. I mean, we've come across so many cool things on these little cruises, and it is beautiful back here.
I wish you could find, see how much time it's been on
Beautiful. So we made it out to Lombard, Montana. Once a thriving town. It was a destination for the Milwaukee Railroad. It was a railway town, and there's a lot of cool artifacts here, a lot of cool history of this area, and I'm going to give you a panorama. It's super beautiful. I mean, surrounded by mountains, deep ravines, an old curved bridge, maybe the only one in the country, I'm not sure, but it's just, if you look at this curved bridge right here is now demolished once the railway was taken out. But you see, it used to be just a feat of engineering in this area. You got this river, you got these ravines, and it's just something you don't see every day and you gotta appreciate. And there are some remnants of the town, old foundations, old things like that. And there's actually an old railway tunnel we're gonna take a little journey back to. But it's just really cool, and you get this vast sense of space here and just wonder. It doesn't feel like it should be a town. It feels like it should be almost something you'd see in a national park or a preserved area, and it's kind of just open and available to take a look around at, and that's what we're going to be doing here. So yeah, they like this tunnel. There's some shotgun shells here. It looks like someone might have found one.
Here's one of the foundations. One of the more prominent ones anyways.
Yeah, look at this.
You got like your stereotypical shot up car in your abandoned town.
That is a staple out here. Montana staple, the shot up car or stop sign. And signs and traffic lights were a big deal when they started appearing in these areas. A lot of the people didn't like them, and I think it's pretty cool to not like them. Gives you a little more sense of freedom and independence. But there's some scraps of the area and just little things that were kind of left by a town. And mind you, as I'm doing this, I'm walking through here and I'm scanning periodically and listening. This tall grass and the sun being out. This is prime rattlesnake country. We already saw a bull snake, so if we saw one of those, he's obviously hunting and eating, so you just got to be careful. That's a piece of history. So that would have been here when the town was thriving, before everything was demolished and people decided to move out, and there was no longer jobs or industry, and it was left here. So we're going to get going a little bit down the road, and there's going to be an old railway tunnel we're going to investigate and see how that's holding up. Just doing our rounds here. Steak. Big one. Super cool area. Super cool. This is one of Dirt Road's haunts. He hasn't steered me wrong yet. He's got some really cool places.
One of my first 3 videos was here.
First 3 videos. You hear that, YouTube? Go into his log and take a gander at one of his as well.
It'll get reposted because I gotta take that one down now. Cause I have
rail ties from back in the day.
You got a tie plate.
Oh yeah. A lot of different history out here still.
Good luck getting that thing out.
And I think that's what a lot of people probably did. They probably, you know, the town gave up, whatever. People were at their wits' end just being out here, and they said, we're not moving this. We're going to leave some of this. And
yeah, the ties aren't whipping anybody. They're, because of the ties, stakes, and rails were valuable for raw iron, for, you know, the raw.
For the conversion, yeah.
Because they had a lot of like nickel and other high alloy metals in them. So they were valuable for recycling. That's why everybody sold them up so fast. So here's that 16-mile creek.
Yeah, that was on the other side of Modlow.
Yep.
So yeah, where we started this journey, what would you say, about 20-30 miles that way?
Yeah, but you know, we're east 25-30 miles from the start of this.
All right, we're on the other side of this mountain range where we started, and we came back this way. In that town of Modlow that we stopped in, the old ghost town where we saw the house and the old school building, that was a part of this land. Found a little shell here, and this railroad went right through it, and it was the old Milwaukee, and we're seeing some of the remains of it right now. So we're walking over the old bridge.
People do drive back here, but I do not recommend it.
Yeah, it's probably something at your own risk, and probably something you'd do if you don't plan on keeping your vehicle. But very pretty. We go on through here, it just gets better and better, and you can almost picture yourself being a railway engineer and conductor driving through here. Yeah, passengers would come through here, wouldn't they?
Yeah, Milwaukee had some of the coolest passenger trains. They had like these upper levels that you could, like viewing areas where you can get up, and
yeah,
so you were like in a glass bubble up above the train car, and you could like 360-degree view around you.
And that you said that they made their own in-house train cars.
Yeah, they made all their own passenger cars, freight cars. I mean, they made all their own train stuff. Want to say they even made their own locomotives, but I could be wrong on that. I think they made their own electric locomotives, but their diesel ones, I think they flat like everybody else does.
Which is super cool. Because you had a company that was self-sufficient, and they had their own niche almost in the railway community.
Yeah, they were originally based in St. Paul, if I remember right.
St. Paul, Minnesota, that would be, right?
Yep. Yeah, and they had, like, you know, that's where they had their big, you know, manufacturing yard for all their own train cars, maintenance station, and where they'd work on all the cars and locomotives and everything.
That's a good little tidbit of information as we follow this line more. So what was Corbin? I have a video with Corbin, and it's an old trestle, and I went out on it, went on top of it, kind of got a bird's eye view for everyone, but I didn't know what rail line connected that. Was it the Great Northern?
Those little information kiosks over there.
Yep.
Yeah, have Corbin on there.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to remember where Corbin is.
Yeah.
You have to remind me what part of the state Corbin's in.
So Corbin's in Jefferson County, up by kind of a little west of Boulder.
That would have been, I think that was the Northern Pacific. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Northern Pacific. So Northern Pacific.
There's so many old abandoned rail lines in Montana, it's hard to keep up with them all.
It is just rich in rail line history, but also fur history, trapping.
Yeah.
You know?
That's one of the things that Montana was originally known for, was trapping. So right now we're on the main line of the Milwaukee Road.
Okay.
So the Milwaukee Road came into Montana from South Dakota over by Baker.
Okay.
And then we went to Plesna, and then turned and went up through Westmore, and went to Ismay, up to Fallon, and then it followed the current I-94, Terry, and veers away and crosses Yellowstone twice before Miles City.
Okay.
There's a depot in Miles City that you can go to now. Some contractor outfit opens it. Fuck.
Oh yeah, there is a hawk cruising. It's probably looking for that bull snake up there.
But anyhow, we went to Miles City and then across the river a bunch more times to Fromberg.
Okay.
Or not Fromberg, Forsyth. This is that bridge I was worried about. The Sunny Bluff Country one.
Oh yeah. It looks decent.
Then from Fromberg it turned and went up towards Roundup. Along one of the loneliest highways in Montana.
Is it very lonely?
Very lonely. No cell service, infested with deer. Like, they will run out in front of you in the middle of the day. They don't care.
Yep. Yep. Sounds about right. So a highway you don't drive at night.
I believe that would be Highway 2.
Highway
you go
2.
Through like Ingomar, Jordan, whatnot. But yeah, it's very lonely out there. Pretty. I mean, it's pretty in its own way. It's not like this, but it's more like I wouldn't call them gentle rolling hills, but more aggressive rolling hills.
Jagged, kind of,
yeah.
You know, geologically formed under pressure, it looks like.
Kind of like that scraggly section we were driving through earlier today. It's,
yep.
It's like that.
Okay. And there is no shortage of cool landscape scenery here.
I'm looking at all these pockets up here.
Yeah, there's a lot of little pockets, cave formations.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for something to walk out of one.
Well, you're the gunner today.
Yeah. I got my buddy Smith on my side.
Smith?
Snake repellent.
Yep. I was hoping, YouTube, that was a rattlesnake. I've been wanting a rattler forever, and I think it'd be great just to have a skin and a rattler. But unfortunately, it was a bull snake. I got a bit excited, jumped out of the truck, and bull snakes do help control the rattlesnake population out here, which is always a plus, because walking through this tall, thick grass and brush, you never know if one's curled up after you had a lot of sun, or you spook one and he jumps out and bites you. So
bull snakes are more prevalent on this side of the state. You get more eastern, you start running running into the rattlers a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll find a lot more rattlesnakes like up in the Pryor Mountain Range.
There it is.
Yeah, there's tunnel number 9.
That's tunnel number 9 up in the distance. This is exciting. This is something that's going to be just as cool as Modlo.
Like I said, those were the electrified. This was the electrified section of the railroad, so these were the lines that helped bring power out to the line.
Yeah.
So if you ever
look at this.
Yeah, something got
got. And it looks like it started over here in the brush. There is a big fight here as far as bird feathers and remains go. Like ravines like this is where you might find an animal sitting, drinking water, doing something. Definitely close to us there is some sort of predator life, whether it be a mountain lion or a bear. But
it's more than likely either that bird either got hawked or a mountain lion got it.
It's one of the two. Something got him. And look at this. Look down in these caves right here. That's perfect territory.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff is
Yep, it's low profile. You got the tunnel up here, so it's definitely a high risk area. He's got his sidearm at the ready. We don't know.
I got it on the ready because I've come across too many mountain lions and shit like this.
Well, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Montana Dirt Roads and Outback Jack. We're out here risking our lives for the good content. All right.
Danger.
Now I know we're gonna go YouTube famous if we do end up killing a mountain lion on this trail.
Self-defense only.
Self-defense only, correct.
Yeah, so the railroad, if I remember correctly, went around this hillside. You can kind of see it went around over there.
Yep.
If I understand correctly.
Wouldn't that be a wicked drive? And there were people loaded on that like coming out here to find their plot of land or to strike it rich mining.
I think by the time the Milwaukee Road got out here, you know, most of it was already, everything was already settled.
Okay.
The old territory, cowboy and Indian days were a thing of the past. Like I said, this tunnel was put in the 40s.
Okay.
Like some of the bridges over by like Terry were put in the 20s, I want to say.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot closer to the tunnel, YouTube. It looks like we're gonna have some cool content as far as the walkthrough goes here. Just farther into the ravine. I mean, it gets me excited to think about it. You're driving a train through this thing, and look what you're surrounded by. And you have no idea where you're coming yet. You just know you want to go out, head out to Montana and mine, or strike it rich in Colorado, wherever. This is going to be one of your transit areas, and just you're taking all this in, and it's just a rail line going right through the mountains. It'd be an exhilarating time. It really would. So it's monumental in size too, the closer you get to it. So have they been spray painting it? That's a shame. That's a shame. So, spray painting has its place, but as we see, we get out here, it looks like this has been a destination to make art on this historical site here, which is kind of disappointing, but it doesn't take away from how cool this actually is. I mean, it's disappointing to see this on those walls of this great historic area, but this is just amazing.
Yeah, the rock is still stained from all the exhaust.
Yeah, it is. Good eye. That is what that is. That's all the coal exhaust, all the exhausts on the train. Look at that, a black stain on the ceiling of it, just from it coming through so frequently, as years and years of use of this railway that is now, as you can see, no longer here. And the rocks were just blasted, pickaxed, shoveled, carted away. It's a feat of engineering, and it's simply stunning. It's stunning, and you see, for size reference, I mean, you feel tiny in this place. So this is super cool. Super rewarding area to be exploring and getting a part of.
Tunnel number 9, 1942 is when this tunnel was put in.
Tunnel number 9, 1942. Dirt roads with sand, and we're coming out towards the other end, like so many before us have.
Well, you can see right there, 2019, someone tacked that up. It wasn't
Yeah.
until recently that all this happened.
Why someone would come out here with spray paint, it's a bit disappointing. Because it's too beautiful for that.
So this is off towards Modlow.
Okay. And when we were in Modlow and we looked to our behind the schoolhouse, right?
It was facing this direction.
That this same rail track that we pointed out in Modlow would have been coming this way and through this tunnel.
Yep.
Super cool.
You know, it's just you don't appreciate how much work it goes into building a tunnel until actually get inside it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely unique and special to its time. I mean, we're about 45 minutes to an hour from the nearest town, and this site alone is probably 45 minutes itself climb up a hill, up a trail, and to me it's just strange that someone actually had the idea of coming here with spray paint to this specific location, 100 miles from town to spray paint here. So it's strange, but I guess it remains. And here's a little shot of these rocks.
Look above you. To the hanger for the power wire, the electrified section.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes up the power lines for the electric locomotives.
Were they really?
Yep, well, it's the only way they can get the power where they come.
Just amazing. Just amazing. So we're leaving the rail tunnel, and I can say this was a great expedition. Come across a lot of old history, a lot of cool things. I think this is one of our best expeditions yet. As far as Mammoth goes, Comet, Castletown, this has been a great trip. And it looks like we found...
Guide wire.
Oh yeah.
From when the power line come through here. You got the insulators right here. So the two cables don't touch. Use that insulator to take up the slack.
Yeah. Look at that. Old piece of history right in front of us. History everywhere. Very cool.
Just being observant and paying attention to your surroundings. There's clues everywhere.
Everywhere. It was spread apart.
The train rails were in between these two girders.
And then you have your cross.
Yep, you got all your diaphragms holding the girders together. Kind of appreciate how the old bridges were put together after you put modern ones together.
You really do. Before we get out of here, I think because there are some historical markers here, I think it'd be cool because this town was really neat. It's almost erased, but there are some historical markers. Maybe grab a couple tidbits of information from them and just kind of sit with it. But
yeah, the history of just the Jabo section is interesting in itself.
And it's right here by the old car.
Yeah, back then it was called the Montana Railroad, and then later on it became the Milwaukee Railroad.
Oh yeah. It does. So this is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So the town of Lombard was named for Arthur G. Lombard, chief engineer of the Montana Railroad. It started out as a construction camp of railroad workers in 1895, evolved into a town by 1915. complete with a hotel, post office, and general store. After 1950, the number of trains decreased dramatically, and by 1961, the general store, post office, and train station was closed. And if you can see it, it looks like a pretty big town.
Yeah, it was a large one.
So this whole area had a hustling and bustling town nestled away in the cliffs, and it served as a commuter point, really, between mines, because we have Elkhorn, we had Comet, we had Mudlow, so many out here, and this is all part of the chase of the
Milwaukee Road,
the Milwaukee Railroad. And
common phrase for the road, for this specific railroad, is we're waiting for a train that'll never come.
there it is, common phrase.
So yeah, you went from that to that.
Yeah.
You know, and they show like the old steam engines from back in the day, and then they came out with the electrified section, which this is part of. And I want to say it was in '77 that they got rid of the electrified section, and they just were running your standard diesel electrics. And it was '79 or '80 is when they finally snapped the line, called it quits.
It's hard to believe out here, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
like nothing. There's
for how
one
long?
Foundation.
For how long the railroad was in service.
Yeah.
It sections of the line are just gone.
In the matter of what, 70 years?
Well, yeah, it was 1980 was.
But this town closed 1961.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're in 23, and there's nothing left. We have a car here.
Yeah, a couple cars in some concrete foundation.
And some concrete foundation. It's how quick, and it's very strange to me, but it's such a beautiful place.
Some areas where the line went through like some of the more open areas.
Yeah.
As soon as the rail shut down and the land was sold to the area farmers.
Yeah.
They within a week they had the rails pulled up and the grade dug out so they can farm.
Holy
and have to
cow.
climb over it.
And that's the same thing that happened in Modlow, where we see that. And again, this is, we're just circling back from Tunnel 9 on the old Milwaukee rail line, but this old car was left here, and I'm assuming it was broke down.
Or left behind.
It could have been, yep. And we got an old headlight.
No, that'd be a carburetor.
Is that a carb?
Yep.
You sure? Yeah, it is.
It looks like a carburetor or a diaphragm to something.
Okay.
As you can see the linkage in there.
Yeah. I thought that puppy would go just like this.
If it was a headlight, it would be about 9 inches in diameter. For a car this old, this would have been a 6-volt system, so they just had really big headlights that look like candles.
See, he's a car man too. He's a car man, a mountain man, and a ghost town explorer. All in one. But this is awesome. And out of all my research, I haven't seen a place like this. It's really cool. It's really cool.
There's a lot of places like this. You go down, you chase the railroad from Fallon to Baker.
Yep.
There's Westmore. There's only one standing structure in.
Yep.
You know, and it's just a house. What's left of a house, an old farm. There's like some old equipment laying around. And once, like I said, I think it's Ismay. There's that place is just barely surviving. Just local farmers live there. There's a lot of these little rail towns. You know, and it's not just the Milwaukee Road. Like you go up, up over by Plentywood. You know, there's sections of abandoned rail line up there from the Great Northern, if I remember correctly. And there's entire towns that the only thing that's left is a rock with a monument that says there was a town here.
And to me, some of that's I'd like to see it, right? I'd like to see the old buildings and maybe a couple people, but this place is beautiful, and I can't believe it. We've been to a lot of ghost towns, and you know, this area here is probably one of the most beautiful areas I've seen as far as ghost town hunting and exploring. And I want to thank you for showing me this little haunt. And we started this journey on at 11 o'clock?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, 11 o'clock, and we met up. We've been in touch with each other since the start of Outback Jack, and it's been a great adventure, and I think we're going to duo up and do a couple more. And you know, if you like us, like and subscribe. I'll leave Dirt Roads link as well. This is Montana Dirt Roads, and he's got a lot of interesting content, a lot of different things from automobiles to hunting, to just general culture of Montana and different things like that, and it's really enlightening and cool to get out here with them. And just give us a like and subscribe. We're gonna keep doing these and hammering them away, and I hope you enjoyed this Outback Jack. It's a beautiful area, and again, thank you.
No problem.
So this is great. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed today. Bye.
Got a train coming.
Well, we got a train coming, so we're not done yet.
Let's go see some train walking.
And maybe you guys want to see this thing rolling down the old rail line. Not the exact Milwaukee, but this is Montana rail line, and
so the only train this canyon sees anymore.
Only train this canyon sees. So we're gonna get a good shot of it real quick. And here it comes.
For your shorts. Oh, it's even a grain train. So this is a speed reduction zone for because it's so windy here in canyon. We're at a greater risk of having an oops. So I'm told from engineers that come through here, they have to throttle her back a little bit. When you hear them coming through Tossin, you can hear them starting to get back on that throttle.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Once the tail end of the train gets through here, they can start speeding it up.
So we're in a unique area. This is a speed reduction zone as we're watching this train come through the Montana rail link, and this is totally unscripted. We heard it and we were doing our farewell until the next episode, and we're seeing this now, and it's really cool. I hope you guys are a fan of trains. I think it's interesting, and I know a lot of people love this stuff, so I'm gonna try to capture it for you guys and just give you a little Easter egg along with this Outback Jack expedition. Thanks for joining us, and here your train is.
You hear it back out of it?
Yeah. That's a grain train. You can see all the grain on the top if you look close enough. So as we said, the last place you can wait for a train in Montana. I guess the train gods are with us today.